before it was renovated. And I could look out there and there was like trees before they built their
Yeah.
house.
Yeah,
So
but I'm saying like, I don't know, like my creepy husband. Oh, he looks so creepy.
that's
He looks so
hilarious. Like he should
he
have
like
been
didn't
doing
want
that
to
like
walk by.
in a back bend, like walking down the hallway. Like that
Yeah,
would have been better.
really
Like we should have
scary.
planned that because that would have been good.
Yeah, something. Okay, how do I sound? Do I sound okay, or is this
Yeah,
like
yeah, you sound
bad?
good. Well, you sound good.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm gonna turn you up though so that I can hear you better because you're gonna be the one talking more
Oh
today.
gosh, that's weird.
You excited?
I don't know. I like made a list last night because I was like, okay, what are my stories? What stories do I have? Like, maybe you don't tell them all and sound like a crazy person.
Well, no, no, no,
I
no. You're not gonna sound like a crazy person.
don't know. Everyone already thinks I'm crazy. So
I mean, then just commit to the bit, you
yeah,
know?
there you go. Just
Oh,
roll with
so
it.
look, I have my spooky
Nice, nice. I got my skull,
McDonald's shirt.
got my skull, and
This
I
is,
even have like new spooky decorations over here. Like a
yeah,
little skull here, a little candle there.
I love your spooky
Spooky
stuff.
books over here with like it has a
Yes.
light up skull on the front of it, which is fun.
Cute,
So,
cute. Well, this is my friend's clothing brand
oh,
that they
fun.
started. It's like embroidered on it. It's like one
Ooh,
of the most comfiest sweaters I've ever had. And I get so many compliments on it whenever I'm out. They're always like, "That's so cute. Where'd you
it's
get that?" And I'm like, "Well,
adorable.
actually,
Hmm.
yeah, actually, you can go online on their
Actually,
website."
here's the link.
So I have my book ready. I have my book
Okay.
ready for our book rant, maybe.
All right.
But we'll see if we get to that. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. And I got a timer for us
Ooh,
because oh
how did
look,
that go on your live stream? How did that go on the live stream?
the live stream was really good. Like
Yeah.
it was fun. It like the live streams are always long though. They are so long because like every time I think, okay, we can be done. Like, nope, nope, got this whole list of things. And then it's like, oh, we're done chatting. Nope, everyone's just chiming in. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. I feel like that's not a bad thing to have, right? Is
Yeah.
like you want an engagement. So,
Yeah. One time I was gonna do a tutorial that they asked for, and it was ended up being like, I think it was like an hour and a half long. And I was like, okay, do you guys
damn.
want me to like break this into two videos for you? And they're like, no, long video, give us timestamps. We're good. And I'm
Oh,
like, okay, sure.
nice.
So
I love
did that.
that. That's great.
Okay.
That's
All right.
awesome.
Are we diving in?
Yeah,
Or do
I think
we
we are.
we are? Okay. Well, let's diving in.
I know.
Okay.
Well, welcome to the Two Victorious podcast and happy spooky season.
Yay.
Happy spooky season. We have a bunch of in the month. Um, we have a bunch of stuff going on this month. Tori is dropping all of her fun, spooky stuff on her website and on her Instagram. She just did a whole live stream on YouTube on her channel, which went really great. I just posted my Beetlejuice styled shoot that we did like 2 years
Oh,
ago. Just a
I have
full
to
like,
look at
oh yeah,
that.
no, wait. Yeah, wait till you see. I just did it while I was watching you. I was kind of like planning out my stuff for I don't know. I'm like a really like you got me on such a good path of doing like so many um for Instagram. And then now I don't know, my life just gets too busy.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
And
It's
I'm
a
like,
lot.
fuck,
It's
I
a
didn't
lot to
get
keep
anything.
up with.
It is a lot, but you're so good at it. Like,
Well, I
guys,
mean,
if
it
you
helps
guys
that I have
save
like
our
a
Instagram,
routine. I have like a
oh,
plan.
good.
That
Yeah,
helps, because it
that
takes
does
a
help.
lot of the guesswork out of it. And then I had with my Planoly account where I schedule and
Yeah.
post things, I had
Yeah.
two Instagrams connected to it, but one of them I had
Right.
like stopped using. I just barely even touch it. And then now that my Bookstagram account is like going crazy, I was like,
Blowing
you
up,
know what? Let me just
blowing
unlink
up.
this one and link this one. And now it's like, ooh, I get an email for a promo. Let's just schedule it. Email for, okay. This morning I was
You,
like
you,
changing my
oh,
lighting so that I could do like my
yes.
current read so that I could get
Yes.
that scheduled. It's already posted while
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know what I was doing, but it did its thing. So that's
Well,
handy.
you just did a really cute short that showed the mega
Oh yeah, the new
like
planner.
fancy.
Wasn't that fun? I did that this
It was
morning
so
too.
good. I loved it. I was like, Season of the Witch. That's like my vibe. That's my vibe. I'm
It
into
totally
that.
worked. Totally worked.
Yeah, I think it did well. I think people are going to engage with it well, which was great. And
Yeah.
like I said, guys, we have so much going on. This is our season. Just saying. We love a good fall moment. We love
Mhm.
a good like hot chocolate or coffee while reading a book by a fire. That's
Ooh,
like, yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Good
yep.
visual.
And it just got chilly. And it just got chilly here. Did it get chilly by you yet or no?
Oh, yeah, it dropped and got like really chilly. We turned on the heat for the first time the other day for like a few hours,
Mm,
like maybe like an hour before bed. It's like, okay, let's,
yeah.
it's cold. We're like, when I realized the hubby was like all bundled up and put a beanie on to hang out in the house, I'm like, maybe it's time to like turn the heat on for like an hour,
Mm. My
So I'm
husband gets
like,
really mad at me too. I have it so cold. They're like,
I
he's
like
like,
it
we should have
cold.
the heat on right now. I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
sweaters in the house.
Yeah, I'm like perfectly fine with it being a little chilly, but I was like, he's in like sweats and like a hoodie and a beanie walking down the hallway, and I'm like, do you want me to turn the heat on? Like, and then the next day it got up to like 77. And I'm like, what is
Wow.
this? I told him before I
Yeah,
came
make up
in
your
here to
mind.
work, I'm like, the temperature's supposed to be up again, so just keep an eye on the thermostat, maybe just turn it back to cool. Did you see that? I saw that.
Did you see
I saw you've got an
that?
orb
Did
floating past you.
you see that ghost orb that just went across my screen?
Oh my gosh. They know we're going to be talking about them.
This is why I need to be friends. This is the only reason out of all of the things that you provide. This is the only
Oh
reason
my
I'm friends with
gosh.
you is this ghost interaction. I cannot with that
Oh,
right now. I literally am like crying. That was so crazy. Okay, well, that's a good transition to
there
what
you
our
go. It's
topic's going to be about
perfect
today.
transition.
I was gonna do this whole like transition from like our Harry Potter episode to like my favorite ghost in Harry Potter, but then I was like, oh, I don't
We'll
know.
just let the
And then that
orb
just
take
happened. So
over.
the orb was just like, nope, it's my show.
It's
You know
my
what's so
time.
weird about that too is that like this is a brand new house. We built this house.
Oh.
The only old pieces of furniture that we really have are this desk that's in here that was donated to us from my mom's friend, and then like this I don't want to say wardrobe because it's not necessarily a wardrobe. It's really just like a china cabinet that we have all
Mm-hmm.
of our liquor bottles in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
So you don't
mean, maybe
think you
something's
brought
attached.
anything in, but
I don't think I did, but you know what's so weird about that is that, um, you know, uh, from the research that I've done and what other people have said, things can be connected to people or
Mhm,
objects. Objects. So
mhm.
it's like maybe I have something attached to me. I do a lot of spooky stuff, like intentionally hang out in cemeteries. Like
Oh, you're gonna like bring something back that you don't want. Like that's it's one day you're gonna
no,
like
I want
bring
that. That's the thing. I was like, I want it.
you
I want
say
it to
that
be
until it's a
spooked.
malevolent spirit, okay?
Yeah, you're
When they
right. You're
start like harassing you, then you're like, I take it back. Go
right.
away.
All right, well, tell me, start off, enlighten my world on like how ghost medium you are. Because this is something that's happened to you and your sister, or is it like just you? Is it
Well,
like a
I asked her yesterday, I was like, okay, do you have any ghost stories that you would like me to tell on our episode? And she's like, well, I don't really have any. And I'm like, really? And she goes, well, unless you think about the painting that jumped off the wall, or and she, or that time that like Annabelle was like pointing at something, like waving to something, but there was nothing there. And I'm like, I mean, those kind of count. And she
your
said,
child?
yeah,
Yes.
and then she's like,
Yes.
or like the night dad died at the hospital and Joseph was acting like he was a baby. And she's like, he was acting like really fussy right around that time. And it's like, I don't know. So weird. But
That's not a
like,
coincidence.
it's
I mean,
not a
there are
coincidence.
coincidences,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But I mean, I made a list. Like I've got this list over here of like,
Okay, good.
what could
I'm
I
excited.
sell? And it's like, which one is the best? And like, okay, maybe I should set our little timer. We're gonna like,
Okay.
we're gonna see. Okay, we're gonna like try to keep it as a short episode. We'll
Okay,
see.
okay.
I mean, I
We'll see.
honestly don't have much faith in us, but we're gonna see. You know,
Same.
we'll see.
Same.
Okay, so what's a good one? Okay, I'm looking at my list.
Mhm.
I feel like my big story, like we'll save that. We'll save that. Let's not just dive right
Okay.
into that. Okay,
Okay.
let's go
Ease
with
us into it. Ease us
let's
into
ease
it.
into it. Okay, so I mentioned my sister had like a painting that jumped off the wall. Okay, so in the place I lived before this, which is actually right next door to this, like this whole area may have some activity. I don't know. But like I had this painting on the wall. It was a painting of like, I don't know, some barn farm scene that I painted in high school, right? And I don't know
Yeah.
why I decided we're going to hang it on the wall. It wasn't that great. I mean, you know, but whatever. So
It was yours,
it
and you
was
had it in your
mine, whatever.
home.
But it was on like it wasn't like a stretch canvas. It was a canvas panel. So like you know the board thing,
Mhm.
and like
Yeah.
the hook on the back of it was I made it in high school. So it was a Coke can tab that was like hot glued. So
Love
like
that.
you know the size
Love
of
that.
the opening on like a Coke can tab, right?
Yeah.
So there was like this screw in the wall that was there, and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna put it on that. Well, it was like the kind of screw that like the head was like really big of it. So like you had to like push your face up against the wall to like
And like see
angle
it.
this thing
Yeah,
just
yeah,
right
yeah,
and like give it a
yeah.
wiggle to get it to fit on there, right? So it wasn't like you
Right.
just hang it and go, right? That
Right.
thing jumped off the wall twice. And I was like, you know, I don't think
But the
so.
tab never came off the
The tab
painting.
never came off. Like, and every time I went to put it back on, it would be like really hard to get back on because it was like
Yeah, because you have to like
you have to
almost like
the thing.
maneuver it to get
And I'm
around the
like,
opening of the screw.
you know, after the second or third time, I'm like, you know, well, just here, Dad, you can have a painting. And so I just gave it to him, and I was like, then I don't have to worry about anything anymore. So then
That's crazy.
I like, and that was just like a little thing, but I was like, I used to hear voices over there all the time, and I just thought I was crazy, which
So is this a part of the house then? This is like
it was
part of the
like,
house is very active.
it's part of like the old family property. Like our
Okay.
family owned, like back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
almost
Mm-hmm.
this
Some like
entire road
ancestor
that we're
shit.
on,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
there could be something, you know, here. I don't know. But like that same place,
Yeah.
one night I was in bed and I heard like this loud like crash. And I lived by myself. I'm like, what? Like, what? And you
Yeah.
know, so I'm like turning on lights, you know, like scary movie
Yeah.
lights.
Like
Like I
someone
have no
broken
weapons.
or
Like,
like
what
a
am I gonna
window
do?
broke. Yeah.
And I'm like
Right.
walking, I'm like looking through the house. I'm like, okay, I don't see anything. And then I look at the end of the hallway and I realize that the door to my office is closed. I never close that door. Like never. Like not when I'm in it, not when I leave it, never close it. And I'm like,
Right. Like why
okay.
is
And
there
I'm
a
like
door on it anyways?
terrified, right? So I like go to the door and I like touch it and there's something blocking the door. And I'm like, is there a killer in my house? Like, is there something in my
Right. That's
house,
the
right?
first thing I would
The
think
first thing
that
you
there's
think,
someone
like,
like
there's
hiding
someone
in
in my
there.
house, and what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So I go to like push it, and there's something there, and I like, because it wasn't latched, it was just like there was something blocking it. So I get it open, like just like a crack, and like my cat is sitting in my office chair, staring at the closet that is behind this door. And I'm like, and he's just sitting there, like, you know how cats do that thing, like mid lick, legs stuck in the air, and they're just like frozen.
Yeah.
Like that's what
And I
he's like
like they
frozen,
saw
like
something, but they don't want to. Yeah.
yeah.
They don't move. They can't
And so
see me.
I'm like, oh shit, there's someone hiding behind my door, and I'm gonna have to hit him with the door to get in here and like make him go away, right? Like there's
Yeah.
someone behind
Yeah.
my door. That's what I'm thinking. So I
Right.
like, I'm like, okay, here we go. And I just give it a big shove and I hear something move and I like step in and there's like one of those like Rubbermaid containers that
Mm-hmm.
was in the closet that is now like laying in the floor behind the door. And Like
That's
how did
weird.
that like I know the cat didn't jump up there. One, he was like a 30-pound overweight cat that barely moved. Like he was not gonna jump on the closet. Like he's not gonna do that, right?
He wasn't even
So
moving for
he
a
was like
stranger
he
in your house.
it was a feat to get in that chair. Like he's not, So I'm like but like, okay, so this closet, just to like give you a visual, it's like one of those
Yeah.
closets that's like the whole width of the room with the slider doors type of
Right.
situation. And so like the shelf
But
inside the
that's on the
closet.
same wall as the
Yeah, so like the
door.
door's here, and
Okay.
like when you open the door, it's like behind, right? So like the shelf in the closet is just like a few inches, maybe like a couple inches above the top of the closet door. And this container was on that
She would have had
shelf.
to like turn
You would
it
have
to
to
get it
turn
like
it like
out.
long ways and like slide it up against the wall and then like flip it
Hmm.
to get it on the shelf. So it's not coming down, like
Hmm.
it barely got in there. I have no idea how it got off that shelf and into the floor. No idea.
That's so random though.
It's so random.
It's
Like what?
like so
Like what was it?
random.
Like Christmas decorations or something? Like, are you offended by my ornaments? Like,
Yeah.
like it was just weird. And my neighbor called me. I want to say it was like last year, just randomly out of the blue. We don't talk anymore, but
Hmm.
she lives like right across the street. And like I said, this used to be family property. So she calls me one day, just randomly out of the blue, and she's like, "Hey, did anyone live here before us?" And I'm like, not that I'm
Yeah.
aware of. Like
Oh,
that
really?
used to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
like trees there. When I grew up in this
Oh,
house,
okay.
like it was just trees. And so I was like, unless
Weird.
it was something that was like really, really old, like before the trees,
Right.
and then the
Right.
trees got there. And she's like,
Right.
"Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Well, there's the presence, and I thought maybe he was part of your family." I'm like,
Ancestral trauma
who calls
mixed with
like their
ghosts.
neighbor and be like, "Hey, your family ghost is haunting my house," which is basically like what
Yeah.
she was saying. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
she said he would just appear from time to time, just like she would come through the house and he'd be like standing in the dining room, like not just like I see something out of the corner of my eye as I pass the guest bathroom.
And I
That
see an
happens, like
apparition. Like I see a
But
human.
she's like, no, like she started. I was like, well, what does he look like? And she starts describing him, and I'm like, well, shit, that looks like that old family photo in the guest bedroom back there. And I'm like, that's creepy. But
That's
she said that he comes there
crazy.
all the time. Just like, he'll be there. He'll just show up every once in a while and then
Did there
then he
used to
just
be like
goes
a
away.
work shed or something out there? Like, was there
I
like
don't
a work
know.
shed or like,
I have no idea because like
do you
whenever
know
I was
any?
little, before they built their house, literally it was like I could look out this window because this used to be like the living room of the house before it was renovated. And I could look out there and there was like trees before they built their
Yeah.
house.
Yeah,
So
but like, I'm saying like, I don't know, like, my creepy husband. No, he was so creepy.
that's
He was
hilarious.
so,
Like he should
he
have
like
been
didn't
doing
want
that
to
like
walk by.
in a back bend, like walking down the hallway. Like
Yeah,
that would
that
have
would
been
have been
better.
really
Like we should have
scary.
planned that because that would have been
Yeah,
great.
something. Okay. So, all right. So you're telling me that like, so your family has owned this land for a long time. I mean, do you guys have like a little cemetery on site or anything like that? Like,
No,
how
I mean,
old
and
school
right
have you
now,
owned this
like
land?
I'm currently sitting on like the last remaining piece of the property that like
It's been
they
sold
own
off,
that
like
like
everything.
this lot used to be a field whenever I was growing up, and now there's like three houses on it. Like
Wow.
Nana's sold her farm down the road, because this
Hmm.
lot where I'm at is, well, part of this house my great grandfather built. And then
Wow.
before this house, my grandmother lived here as like a little girl in like, back in the day when it was like a two-room like cabin
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
So
well, I'm saying like pioneer time, like anything could have happened on that land.
maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna freak myself out. Like last night, I felt like I
Oh,
couldn't
like you need
hardly
to do
sleep
some
because I
deep
was like
dive on your
thinking, no,
property. Yeah, no,
maybe,
you need to
yeah.
deep dive on like
Because like
how
I'm now
long.
that I'm thinking about it, like I'm looking at this list and one, two, three, four, five, six, seven things, seven out of the nine to eight, nine items on this list that I was going to share with you happened on family property. Like, I didn't think about that until just this moment.
Yeah.
That's
A
weird.
lot of times, if it's not the property, so there's I don't know how much you know about my like anything about ghosts. Do you know like anything about
I
ghosts?
mean, I've watched some
Like
documentaries and some ghost hunters and
Hollywood
stuff,
versions of things?
like some different things, but I wouldn't
Well, because
say
you can have like a
disclaimer, I'm not an
poltergeist,
expert.
right? Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can have like a poltergeist,
Yeah.
or you can have like an ancestral property.
Yeah.
If there are any human remains on property, which they probably are if it's been there for that long,
Yeah.
just thinking about like people used to just bury their family members outside of
Oh,
their
it's
houses and
creepy.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that insane?
Creepy.
Um, and you guys don't have any native in you at all, do you?
I mean, my mom used to say that we might have some on her mom's side,
Okay.
but I don't
So
know.
that kind of stuff you can definitely, I mean, especially if it's happening all within the same like few miles, either it's
Yeah, I
attached
was
to
fixing to say, like,
you
even that
or it's
grandmother lived down,
right.
like 5 minutes away.
Right, right. So it's like that kind of stuff, especially if it's like tied to like a it could be something traumatic. Like so normally spirits get trapped for some sort of reason, right? It's
Yeah.
not just like they're just like, I'm just not feeling like,
I
moving on.
don't
It's
want
like,
to move on.
yeah,
Like,
they're like, this traumatic thing happened to me. I'm not over it. And I can't move on until I feel like it's either resolved or some sort of um I mean, even ghosts need therapy at this point. I think
yeah.
everyone needs therapy, even ghosts. So, and that's kind of the vibe is that you could totally be living on family ancestral grounds that
Freaking me
have
out.
had things happen to that you won't even know. Like there
Yeah.
could have been like a standoff, there could have been a gunfight, there could have been someone that got stabbed, there could have been a miscarriage. You could have had, think of all the things that happened in maybe like I don't know, even before the 1800s. I mean, you live in a place where it was I would say has had people living in it a lot longer than like California. So it's
Yeah.
like, think of that too. I mean, like think of even just who owned the land, who your ancestors could have killed to get that land.
Well, goodness. Well, goodness, you got to take it there.
Saying like death is why these things exist. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you think it's fully, you feel like maybe you had some sort of like people in your family who would have been in tunes to the other side or like the spirit realm or was wanting, in the 20s, it was really, really popular to have seances. So
Yeah.
like a lot of people were like opening up portals and
Yeah.
like releasing spirits and then just like not putting them back and just letting them run rampant. So,
Yeah.
um, and that was all just based off like just because it was popular to do and other people were like, well, I'm just going to start doing this in my
Yeah.
house. And it's like,
No.
oh, don't do
Don't
that.
mess with that. Well, we
Yeah.
had like when I was like actually driving to Nashville every day to go and work there, we had a couple of different offices at Marathon Village in Nashville. And if you don't know anything about Marathon, it was a car company back in like the late 1800s, I think.
Yeah, 1800, like
And
the
so like
1880s.
this factory where they built these cars is now like a shopping area thing. So there's like offices and
Like a little
everything.
plaza.
And so we had some like weird instances that would like happen in the store from
Mhm,
time to time.
mhm,
And then
mhm.
like, like we would see things or stuff would like move and like fall off tables and stuff like that. And then stuff would just there were times like not when I was there, but I would hear about like it would happen on the weekend and I'd come back and they would be like, oh well, guess what happened? And like stuff would literally just like sitting on the table just shatter. Like nothing touching it,
What?
just like shatter or like roll across the
That's
floor.
crazy.
And so, like, we would have customers come in. It happened, I don't know how many times, like several times, we would have customers come in. And as soon as they walk in the door, they're like, oh, there's something here. And
That's
like
insane.
it happens so many times. And like sometimes they would
Mhm,
just be like, I can feel something. And then other
mhm.
times, like someone would come in and be like, oh, well, yeah, it's a little girl. And then, and
That's so
then
crazy.
And
That's
then
so
one
crazy.
time, like this, like it got to be a point, like it happened so much that, I
Mm.
mean, even one time I walked in and I thought Larry was standing in the back room, and I like went to say something and realized that I was in the store alone. Like there was no one there. And I was like, I know I saw him standing by that door, but it wasn't him. And like one time I was sitting in the chair and something dropped from the ceiling, and I thought, oh, it's a spider. There's a spider on me, but there was nothing there. Like I just saw something drop, but there was nothing there. And so it got to a point where like Dee was like, okay, well, you know, like this woman came and like cleansed one of our houses before because we felt there was something in there. So we're gonna call her in here and see what she says. And
Mm.
so she came in. I wasn't there because it happened on the weekend when the shop wasn't open. And so she starts reading the place or whatever,
Right, right.
and like read the whole building, and then comes back with, okay, well, this spirit is here because they died this way. This spirit is here
Mm-hmm.
because they died this way. This hole in the
Mm-hmm.
wall that someone has patched up is actually a portal. And like this, the little girl that like you think that people have like felt or whatever, it's because
Yeah.
she died here because her mom took her to work one day like at the factory, and she died here and she's lost and she can't. But like
Yeah.
she had all these stories for all these things that, and it's
Yeah.
crazy. And she even said that like there was a mix of like religious decor and artifacts mixed in with some more occult type things. And
Yeah.
apparently, one of the spirits that was in the store didn't like them being so close together. And that's why
Yeah.
some of those things kept falling and breaking.
Wow.
And it's just like
Yeah, I can see
creepy
that.
stuff. Like,
I mean, that would be a
crazy.
great spot for like a spooky, eclectic store like that. But
Yeah.
that is insane. That's so crazy. I mean, but that makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, when you look at those kinds of deaths in a place like that, especially back in the Industrial Revolution area time, definitely during your area or in your area during that time, like people would have just died
Ugh,
and they would have just
yeah.
kept working and like maybe shoveled the body out. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it just wouldn't have been,
oh,
yeah, like it really would
yeah.
not have been handled. They would want to cover up a lot of that kind of stuff too. So it's not like even some families might not get closure and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. I go to a lot of spooky places. Like I personally go on ghost
I
tours
was
in
just gonna say, do
cities.
you do the tours?
Oh God, every single one,
I
every city I've ever been
I
in,
don't
I
think
do
I
it.
could do it. Like, I think I would be too scared. Like, it's one thing if
Really?
it's in my house and like I mean,
I've
like
never,
it happens, but
I feel
it's
like it's
another
way
thing. Like
scarier in your house.
I couldn't go on a tour. Like it's one thing. I
Oh
mean,
my
if it's
God.
here, like I can't do nothing. I live here. Like, what am I going to do? I'm not taking a tour of
Yeah,
my
but like
house. Like,
I feel like that would
but
be scary. You can't escape it. If it's somewhere else, you can leave.
I'm just hoping at least, But it's like if I go, I don't. I couldn't do a haunted house. Like, no,
Oh my God, so
I
I'm
can't.
obsessed. So
No, I
I'm
can't do
obsessed
it.
with haunted houses are like jokey.
No.
Real haunted houses aren't like a house that like the Amityville horror house, like that would be ideal for me. Like I would buy that house. Like and like I would own it.
Nope, I'm good.
But places like that become like museums now and they like kind of like just do like this is what it was like back then and this is
Yeah,
this is where this guy died and this is where he killed his family and like so I like the true horror of it for
yeah.
sure. But I
In the
mean we
daylight.
just went to yeah, so we just went to Colorado and we went on this haunted cavern tour because there was these two caverns at
Oh,
Cave
that's
of the
like two
Winds.
scary things put together. Like,
Yeah. So it's like completely in dark, like you're in darkness. You have
no.
one little
Mm-mm.
lantern, and
Mm-mm.
then you have to like crawl through this crawl space that definitely looks like a portal because like that's the only access to this cavern. And there was this like pit, the devil's pit in the back of the cavern that like just like dropped to like they don't even know where because it's like not safe to like there's like a railing because you can't go past it and there's
Mhm.
like people who've seen that they've seen hands crawling
Oh,
from the pit
quit.
like
No.
oh yeah and that to me I'm
Mm-mm.
like I don't see nothing. I get so
Like,
mad.
where's my ghost, damn it? I paid for a
Yeah,
ghost
where is
on
my
this door.
getting scratched? No, and Red, my husband definitely feels like very attuned to that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't feel any different for me. Like either I'm just like not attuned to it, or it's like, oh, she wants it. So we're like not gonna give
So
it to her.
yeah,
You know
we're
what
not
I
gonna
mean?
give her what she wants.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it's like I've never had something like something fall off the wall and it be weird. Like there wasn't a reason
Yeah.
why it didn't fall off the wall, or like there hasn't been a thing where like things being moved that like I don't remember. Like maybe I'm just like I want to say like
ignorant to it, maybe I'm just not as like in tuned with my surroundings as I would think I am, but like I just have never had anything like that. And I've had friends who have like, oh yeah, the guy in the Boulder hat has always been in my house until I moved. Like, yeah, like, and that's a very common demon who portrays himself as a man in a Boulder hat. Like that
Oh
is
my God.
so common. And that's what I'm interested to see. It's probably just a family spirit that's kind of like either lingering around you or lingering around the property. But
Yeah.
if it's some sort of like seance-y type situation back in like the 20s or whatever, I mean, like there could be, a more aggressive spirit just pretending to be a family member too. That's like one of
Ugh.
the scariest things that
Now
can
I'm gonna
happen is
like
that you
start
can have like,
seeing them more. Like I just know, like this
yeah,
conversation is
yeah,
gonna be like, well, since you're talking about us, we'll just come on
it's
out and
giving it
play.
energy.
Like,
Yeah, you're
oh.
like giving it
Because like
energy.
I
I've
mean,
noticed
I've
that.
seen figures standing in like that bathroom and that bedroom enough times at night that like I will not walk down that hallway without turning the lights on. Like the hubby won't walk through the house at night without the lights on, like all of them. But like me, like I don't have to turn
Really?
on that light or the living room or the kitchen, but the hallway. No, have to turn the oh,
Hallway on.
I have to
That's so
yeah, because I've
crazy.
seen like to the point where I like screamed out loud and like the hubby's um like what's wrong? Like he comes running out of the bedroom with his gun in his hand, like something's happening
Right,
and he's
right.
gotta
Like
be
ready,
I'm like,
like
no, it's just
ready.
that like there's someone standing in the bathroom. That's it, you know. And so it's like, I mean, occasionally I'll see stuff. Yeah.
That's so crazy. You've never done any like spirit box stuff in your
No, I'm
house
not
or
gonna
tried to
like
communicate
try to
or well,
no.
because you can, if it is a spirit that's trapped, you can help them.
Oh no, somebody else can help them. Like, like they just need to go.
You're like,
Like,
no. We're
no,
just gonna ignore it. It's just not
no.
gonna exist.